Hey, what's going on everyone? Welcome to another Nomad Hedge market update video. So we're going to briefly take a look at the markets here, see where things could be going. We're also going to take a look at the dollar index, and lastly we're also going to take a look at Bitcoin and see how the crypto markets are faring. So what's interesting right now, I would say, is the DXY, or the dollar index. So as you can see here, we had this bull run here, pretty sharp move, and we broke above this higher low trend line here. So we're finding a resistance here at this, this is a channel. So this lower high trend line again is acting as resistance. And what's interesting now is that we are above this 200-day moving average, which sort of like would confirm a bull market here for the DXY. But if we find resistance here at this lower high trend line, and eventually this could be called a wave E, completing wave E would be a significant down move. So this is worth taking a look at. And so any move towards the downside here would obviously be a boost for equities in general. But there are other things that I want to highlight here, especially if we take a look at the put-call ratios here. Okay, we've seen a huge spike here in the put-call ratios. And typically when you see levels above or at like 1 or 1.15 here, you see major reversals in the S&P and the NASDAQ. So that could also be a follow-through day. So a lot of people turning bearish in that regard. And that is why it's highly important to see how the sentiment in the markets are positioned right now. And a lot of people are very bearish right now. So this is just something to keep an eye on, especially the 10-year here right now. And by looking at the 10-year here, you can see that this could obviously be the end here of wave 5. And I expect the 10-year here to start dropping along with the DXY here. So they are both finding resistance at the same time. And so one could also make the case here for the 2-year as well. Now, I think the 2-year has already peaked. All we're seeing that right now is just a corrective move here towards wave B. And then obviously we're getting our last move here towards wave C. So if we're seeing the dollar starts dropping along with the 10-year and the 2-year, with that said, you also have the put-call ratios reaching very extreme levels. You can make the case that equities are starting to jump from current levels. Okay, so let's also take a look at the VIX, because I think the VIX has, for now, stuck in a sideways trading range. We have basically two resistance lines here. So let me just draw. We have this resistance line here, and we also have some support here. So basically, I suspect that the VIX could just move sideways from here. And we do have two open gaps, or there are actually three open gaps. These two open gaps here are going to be closed at some point. So we can see the VIX even dropping even further here. So this could obviously be a very good sign here for markets to continue their uptrend. And so by that, let's also take a look at the major indices. And I think we're also due for a bounce here. I'm not really sure if we've completed wave 5 here of intermediate degree. The smaller degree, obviously this looks like we've reached a topping pattern here, but this could be part of wave 4 as well. So if we're looking at this structure here, we can see that we have a channel being formed, and so we are nearing this wave C, which is 100% projection, coincided with this 0.786. So I expect the S&P to bounce either on Thursday, or we could see the S&P start moving up here on Friday. And this is an open gap that I'm looking at that we should eventually close as well. So what happens after this is going to be, you know, the determining factor if we're going to see another leg down here towards wave C, or if this could be part of wave 4 and then we're moving towards wave 5. Okay, so now we're just working towards the projection level right here. So don't be surprised to see the S&P start bouncing. And let's take, this is actually a daily chart here. If we take a look at the indicators, we can see that most of these indicators are heavily oversold, reaching very oversold levels. And this is the Impulse MACD here, showing some momentum here. We can zoom out here. We have sort of like stalled here. And last time we were these levels here, you can see there and there. That's when we have major jumps in the S&P. So obviously it's a little bit overbought here, I would say, but these histogram levels are important to watch here, as they could provide some indication that we would see the S&P jump from current levels. So we are absolutely due for a bounce here. We're seeing here that even the money flow indicator volume has been sort of like very flat here. So any spike here towards the upside would attract buyers And another thing is that if we start applying some moving averages here, yes, we did cross below that 50-day moving average, but again, I mean, if you take a look at the Bollinger Bands, we're stretching very outside from this 2 standard deviation, and we still have some way to go here towards the 100 and 150-day moving average. But when you see extreme levels here, 2 standard deviations below this 20-day moving average, that's when you typically see a bounce here in the major indices. So keep an eye here. I would say perhaps a 4 to 5% bounce, and then we'll just have to see if this is part of a corrective pattern here. And the way I'm actually looking at this is that we have an A, B, C. Okay, so but one thing at a time here. So we're just looking at what's going to happen after we reach this level. So expect a bounce here in the S&P 500. The Nasdaq, I would say, still has some way to go. I'm not sure if we're completing wave C yet, but I'm looking towards this. If we draw a trend line here, I would not be surprised to see the NDX continue to move lower here, and then eventually we would find buyers here at some point, which is why I still believe that maybe on Thursday we could see the major indices perhaps moving downward, and then on Friday we could take off. So either it's going to be on Thursday or Friday, I would suspect markets to rally. And so let's move on here and take a look at the cryptos. We've seen here Bitcoin. Obviously, I tweeted about this today as well. We've broken below this this trend line here, and we're going. This goes back to March 10th, 2023. So this has acted as support now, and we could see here that. So if we apply some of the moving averages here, we can see here that the 100-day moving average and the 150-day moving average are acting as support for now. If we don't find buyers and defending this trend line here, I suspect this is just going to continue downward here. And typically you would see wave C here be of equal length of wave A. And that would mean that we could see Bitcoin here reaching about 27,100 before perhaps finding some buyers at these levels. So that's an update here for BTC. So also take a look at how Ethereum is faring as well. Now Ethereum is a little bit choppy here, I would say. We could perhaps look at this as a nested. We have a 1, 2, 1, 2, and perhaps a smaller degree of 1, 2 as well. This looks like a wave 2 here, but obviously it could also be a wave A here. I mean, we just have to see at this 0.618 level here. This is golden ratio if we're going to attract buyers here at some point. So they're all lining up together. I mean, we're looking at the dollar index, the yields, put call ratios, and everything seems to align that we have reached some some bottoming. I mean, Bitcoin has been going down for weeks now, okay, and the same thing could be said with major altcoins and Ethereum as well. So I would not be surprised to see buyers stepping up here, especially when we're seeing the put call ratio are nearing very bearish levels. So don't be surprised here to see markets bouncing either today or tomorrow, Friday. And so I'll keep you guys updated. You can follow me on Twitter, and I'll post charts there on a daily basis. I think that I'm going to start piling in again, especially some altcoins, dollar cost average here. And so yeah, that was it for today's video. And yeah, good luck with everything, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.